What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the Playbook Sports Podcast, where we are going to continue on our off-season grade series. We just got done talking about the Baltimore Ravens a day or so ago. Let's talk about the Buffalo Bills, which, disclaimer, you guys who are subscribed to the channel, those of you who know us, you know I'm a Dolphins fan, right? So I have to really work hard for the Bills, the Jets, the Patriots to be objective, and I like to think I am, especially when we discuss the Bills offseason. So let's just dive into this. And we can kind of skip over the coaching staff because really no changes here. It's going to be McDermott still running the show. It's going to be Joe Brady running the offense. So no real changes on the coaching staff side of things. And then you look at free agency. We've got one offensive addition and one offensive loss, sort of. So they go out and they sign Josh Palmer to a 3-year, $29 million deal. Does have an out after year 2. It would turn into a 2-year, $21 million deal. And then they lose Mac Hollins. So just being completely objective, I think Josh Palmer is a better player than Mac Hollins. Now, Josh Palmer everyone expected him to take a big step in the Chargers offense last year when he was the bona fide number one guy before, obviously, Ladd McConkey came out as really probably their number one. But I think just on a talent-wise basis, he's better than Mac Hollins is. But I got to be fair to Mac Hollins here. I like what he brought to Buffalo. He brings a certain toughness mentality to the team he's on, and he's on the Patriots. He brings a really strong mentality. He's a guy that you can't help but root for. He'll play special teams. He'll play wide receiver. I mean, he really does it all. But I will say I do think the offense overall improves just by adding in Josh Palmer to that wide receiver room, strictly on a talent basis. Now, there's something to be said for locker room. You know, Matt Collins, probably a better locker room guy, probably a better team guy. Josh Palmer, better wide receiver. So I'm going to say offensively, they're improved based on free agency. Defensively, on first glance, it really looks good for Buffalo. You're like, oh, yeah, nice. Brought in Michael Hoyt on a 3-year, $21 million deal. Brought in Joey Bosa on a 1-year, $12.6 million deal. And brought in Larry Ogunjobi on a 1-year, $6.7 million deal. And you only lost Von Miller, and you released Von Miller. So that was of your own doing. Probably just get out of that contract, right? It made sense from a money standpoint to do that. Then you look at this just a little bit more. Michael Hoyt has been suspended already for 6 games, so he's going to miss the first 6 games of the season for PED use. Larry Ogunjobi is a solid piece next to Ed Oliver. I don't hate that one so much. I like the depth that he brings to their defensive line, and when Hoyt comes back, him as well. I think they're 2 good depth pieces for their defense. I wouldn't really want to start either of them over the guys the Bills already have, so I don't really consider these guys starters. But then the big conversation comes down to Joey Bosa and Von Miller, and I think at first glance, you're like, oh, Joey Bosa, nice. This is not the Joey Bosa that we remember from a few years ago. This is not, one of the best defensive ends in the league, Joey Bosa. And is he really an upgrade over Von Miller? And at first glance, it's like, oh, Von Miller was terrible. That's just first thought, right? We didn't hear anything about him. That Bills contract was terrible. Maybe he didn't produce at that level of contract. But then you just look at last year and what each of these guys did. I mean, Joey Bosa ended the season with 5 sacks. Von Miller ended the season with 6 sacks. So Von Miller technically had 1 more sack than Joey Bosa did last year. He was a better pass rusher, Von Miller was, than Joey Bosa last year, just overall. And Joey Bosa was fine, was good, better than fine, as a run defensive guy. But is that why you're bringing him in? Because you already have someone like that in A.J. Epinesa who's cheaper and will be leaving soon. But I think you'd want to keep A.J. Epinesa over Joey Bosa. That's just me. I mean, I don't know if this is a huge upgrade, personally. I don't know if I wouldn't expect a whole lot more out of Joey Bosa than what you're getting. He's more of a run-defending edge rusher now as opposed to a guy who's going to get you double-digit sacks. So I don't want to hate on Joey Bosa. I've always liked Joey Bosa as a player. I rooted for him in L.A. But if you just look at the numbers from this past season, man, nothing really jumps out at you that makes you think, oh, wow, Joey Bosa, what a stud. This is not that Joey Bosa anymore. This is a guy that was outproduced by 36-year-old Von Miller this past season, and the Bills chose to go younger for just 1 season, I suppose. But there's something to be said for the fact that Von Miller just overall had a better season last year, and you got rid of him for money purposes. I get it. But when I'm talking about whether or not this team is improved, it's hard to say that Bosa's an improvement over him. Now, I will say adding Ogunjobi and Hoyt makes this an overall net positive, I think, defensively for Buffalo. So I will say that both offensively and defensively, you could say the Bills have improved this offseason, which is good. They're not huge leaps, but they're steps forward, in my opinion. And then we got the draft. And they really went in on the defense, which is good. It's what you want to do. They took Maxwell Harrison in the first round. They also got Landon Jackson. And I want to say, didn't they also take Deion Walker? I'm pulling it up. Yeah, they also got Deion Walker and TJ Sanders. So I think that You kind of revamp that defensive line a little bit more here as well, especially with your second, third, and fourth round picks. Not a big fan of Deion Walker, but I am a fan of TJ Sanders, especially as a run defender. And I think Landon Jackson, even though that bag drill video is just absolutely god-awful, he's obviously better than that, and it's just fun to poke fun at that. Truthfully, I enjoy doing that because it's funny. But he's a solid edge rusher, a guy you can get in the third round. I mean, that's a really solid pick by the Bills. I think they drafted really solidly. I do want to say I think I'm a little bit lower than consensus on Maxwell Harrison. I just don't see CB1 upside, and I don't see CB2 right now either, and that's where he's slotted to be. I think he'd be a really solid CB3, and maybe I will be eating those words, but I think you expect him to come in day one and be a starting boundary corner per the depth chart for the Buffalo Bills. I think you're going to be a little bit disappointed in what you get there. So not as high on Maxwell Harrison as maybe Bills fans would like. Maybe he'll prove me wrong. For his sake, I hope he does. For the Bills' sake, I hope he doesn't. And then let's look at their depth chart, find just a couple of holes here. I do think safety's a need for them, man. No disrespect to Damar Hamlin. I don't think he's a starting safety in the NFL. I don't think he's that level of talent. And then you've got guys, Cole Bishop and Taylor Rapp, really good box safeties, really good against the run, but just atrocious in coverage. So who is your deep safety that you can trust to be the center fielder on your defense? I don't see it. I don't see it on the roster. And then you look at their linebacker room, and I don't love their linebacker room. I know they've got some big name in Matt Milano, who's really been good in the past, but he's missed so much time these last 2 seasons. What is he going to be when he comes back? I don't know, because he's been so hurt. And Bernard, again, another player that's really, really good against the run as a linebacker. Just an absolute liability. I mean, I'm talking the guy from Remember the Titans, Ryan Gosling level liability in the second if he has to cover any sort of a tight end. And Dorian Williams misses as many tackles as anybody. So when you look at those as your 3 starting guys, I'm like, I don't love that. You guys have an injured guy who's really, really good in the past, and Matt Milano can still be good. We don't know. We'll have to see how he does coming back from injury. Bernard, fantastic against the run, awful in coverage. And then Dorian Williams, who really struggles tackling. That's not great. I don't see a future at this position for sure, and I don't love that, especially when you combine the fact that their safeties can't cover very well either. Now you've got at least 1 linebacker, if not 2 linebackers that struggle with coverage, and 2 of your safeties also can't cover to save their lives. That's a real problem. And then I do just want to mention, I think their wide receiver room, it's okay. It just doesn't inspire me even a little bit, especially when you just go up and down it. I mean, Khalil Shakir, Keon Coleman, and Joshua Palmer are your 1, 2, and 3. That is not inspiring. I'd be shocked if any of them went over 1,000 yards this year, truthfully. Now, can they all get 800 yards? They absolutely can. And that's all you need when you have someone like Josh Allen. That is all that you need because he is just that good as the reigning MVP. But as I'm talking about holes, it's pretty clear that they just don't have an alpha wide receiver, and I have to mention it. So, final off-season grade here. I am going to give the Bills a B-. I don't hate what they've done, but I don't love what they've done either. I see minute improvement, minuscule improvement, and that's not enough to get over the hump, Bills and Bills fans. I'm sorry. You guys have to do everything you can to get ahead of the Chiefs. You have Josh Allen. You have the MVP on your team right now. How often are you going to get the MVP on your team in the middle of his prime? I mean, your last one was Jim Kelly in the 90s, so it's been 20, 30 years since you had it. Now you have it right now. You have to take advantage of it. And if you're not doing every single thing that you can take advantage of it, I don't love that. I don't understand why on earth you wouldn't do that. So I don't know if the Bills will continue to be the second best team in the AFC or if the Ravens are going to be better than them this year and the Chiefs, who they still just cannot get past no matter what they do. So a B- feels fair to me. I don't know. Bills fans, let me know about it in the comments. Let me hear it. Talk to me what you guys think about these moves that the Bills have made, the signings, everything that they have done. Let me know what you guys think. I'm excited to hear from you. That's all I've got for you guys on today's off-season grade video. We'll see you guys in the next one.